This is KGW News at 4.
Thank you for being with us. First at 4 o'clock, new developments from the deadly heat wave this summer. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dan Haggerty.
I'm Ashley Korsland. We now know the names and addresses of 96 people who died. The Oregon State Medical Examiner released them this afternoon. You know, newsrooms around the state, including our own, have been asking for these facts and this information for weeks now. We think it's important to understand the circumstances surrounding these deaths so that similar tragedies could be prevented in the future.
The data shows at least 6 of the people who died were homeless, and we know at least 1 person died as early as Thursday, right at the start of the extreme heat. We'll have more on this story as we continue to investigate and dig through the data of what could have been done differently.
Today, a top Oregon Health Authority doctor said there is an incredible amount of the COVID virus out there. Those comments came as the OHA discussed breakthrough cases. That's where fully vaccinated people are still getting COVID. The numbers for July, nearly 1 in 5 cases were in vaccinated people. Here's Pat Doris.
With the Delta variant surging in Oregon, cases are on the rise and breakthrough cases are up as well. In June, Oregon recorded 7,241 total COVID cases, according to the Oregon Health Authority, and 8% of those were in people fully vaccinated, for a total of 579 people. In July, total cases jumped to 12,514, and of those, 19% were in fully vaccinated people, for a total of 2,378 cases. Despite that, the Oregon Health Authority continues to insist in its press release that breakthrough cases are rare, but at nearly 1 in 5, they are not rare at all. Marcel Kurland, a medical doctor and infectious disease professor at OHSU, said the vaccines are still powerful.
1 in 5 doesn't seem rare to me, and I'm wondering if you agree. It sounds like the message should be to those of us vaccinated, you cannot lay your guard down because this can still get you.
The number 1 in 5, it does point to a significant protective effect of the vaccines, but as you point out, it's not exactly rare. It's 20%, and that number may change over time.
He said the breakthrough number is likely rising because the vaccine was designed to stop the original COVID virus, and each variant is slightly different, making our body's response a little bit less effective. The good news, if you are vaccinated and still get COVID, it won't be nearly as bad as if you were not protected. OHA reports of all breakthrough cases since this began, only 7% were hospitalized. And a study using CDC data across 14 states, including Oregon, tracked hospital patients 65 and older for 3 months ending in April. It found Pfizer and Moderna vaccines reduced risk of hospitalization by 96%, Johnson & Johnson by 84% for that age group. It's one more reason doctors like Marcel Kurland and many others urge you to get the shot, and then be careful even when you are fully vaccinated.
If you got the vaccine, that's really good, and it's going to be helpful, and it's going to increase your safety by a lot. It's very important to get the vaccination, but you're not bulletproof.
Pat Doris, KGW News.
With COVID cases climbing and a staffing shortage, one hospital group in Central Oregon has stopped scheduling non-emergency surgeries requiring overnight stays. St. Charles has 4 hospitals between Madras and Bend, and officials say a statewide nursing shortage predicted before the pandemic is contributing to this problem. A lot of patients had also been putting off surgeries because of the virus. St. Charles is more than 80% filled right now, so starting on Tuesday, procedures won't be scheduled unless the patient faces dire consequences or a bed is available. The change is expected to last through the end of the year.
Well, neighbors call it a game of ping pong. Dozens of homeless campers forced from a southeast Portland park have now moved to a nearby school again. Here's Maggie Vespa.
A familiar sight returned to Southeast Portland's Sunnyside School last week. Dozens living in tents and cars came here. They say the city forced their hand again.
And it's kind of strange because in one moment the people are there and the next moment they're gone.
Indeed, an estimated 60 people are now gone from nearby Laurelhurst Park. The city cleared that camp last Thursday.
We have to relocate and start over.
The move followed months of buildup. Neighbors said the camp was unsafe. They reported fires, fights, and break-ins. Officials say about half the people cleared from here went into shelters and temporary housing. The rest stayed on the streets and largely moved. to Sunnyside.
It's not a good look on Portland.
People living near the school say this has happened before. In fact, each time Laurelhurst is cleared, they expect it.
Does it feel like it's fixing anything?
I feel like it's not really fixing anything. It's just forcing them to move somewhere else.
Officials readily admit the cycle highlights a systemic problem. Portland's been operating under a state of housing emergency for 6 years. The last government count conducted in 2019 shows more people than ever, 2,000 plus, are living on area streets. One reason? A shortage of affordable housing. Officials say campers often refuse shelter beds, arguing there would be nowhere for them to go next.
There's a scarce amount. There's a limit. So there's a big wait list. That could be several years for some of those units.
Record investments from recent voter-approved housing bonds are starting to turn the tide, but officials say real progress will take time. Meanwhile, the city continues clearing about a dozen camps per week. Portland City Council recently adopted a policy to prioritize clearing camps near schools, but neither the city nor Portland Public Schools would give a timeline for this camp. The first day of school at Sunnyside is scheduled for September 1st. Maggie Vespa, KGW News.
A man from Phoenix considers himself an expert in the D.B. Cooper case, and he thinks he knows where Cooper stashed his parachute and briefcase. So a little background on this case. Most people from around here already know it. In 1971, Cooper hijacked a plane out of Portland. He said he had a briefcase, he had a bomb in his briefcase, and he demanded $200,000 and 4 parachutes. The passengers on board were let out in Seattle. Cooper jumped out after the plane left Seattle and has never been found. Eric Eulis has been following the case for 40 years. In 1980, a child found a stash of Cooper's cash along the Columbia River, and Eulis says the FBI didn't search the bank high enough. Today, he spent the morning clearing an area where the money was found, and he thinks Cooper's parachute and briefcase are still in the area.
He probably landed very near here, within a mile or so, came to the beach, buried the stuff temporarily. During the flooding of June 1972, I believe he came back and retrieved the money. The question is, did he bother retrieving the other items, the briefcase and the parachutes? If he didn't, I think that they would have been buried right here.
It'd be cool if you found something, wouldn't it? So he plans to do some more digging on Saturday. Eulis says if he finds anything, he'll hand it over to the FBI.
Well, police in Hillsboro are asking for help finding the person responsible for a deadly shooting. It happened early Monday morning. Police say a 40-year-old was killed at 1823 Mystery Bar. Officials are not releasing any other information about what happened, but if you do know something, call Hillsboro Police.
If you are heading to the Oregon coast anytime soon, be aware there is now a burn ban in Lincoln County. So that includes Lincoln City, Newport, Toledo, Waldport, and other areas in the county. The Fire Defense Board says warmer temperatures, reduced rainfall, and the record-setting heat wave have all made the land more susceptible to wildfires. So here's what the ban means. You can't have recreational fires or burn debris. So that means no campfires on the beaches and in day-use areas from Lincoln County to the California border. Burning wood, charcoal, candles, tiki torches, or anything else is also prohibited. Propane stoves and other cooking devices are allowed. They do need to have a shutoff valve.
A dangerous intersection in North Portland could be transformed thanks to some hardworking students from Portland State University. Neighbors near North Willis and Portsmouth say people speed through the area and they are fed up with it. The intersection was selected as a safety engineering project for PSU students, so they'll get real-world experience taking on transportation problems. The design includes a roundabout, curb bump outs, and raised sidewalks. Students presented their plan to the city and hope to get a permit for a pop-up installation. That could lead to a permanent design change.
Most popular example here in Portland is actually Better NATO, that started as a couple-day pop-up installation in 2015, and now it's a full-fledged city project that is nearing completion.
The city is now evaluating the proposal. Students hope they'll get to test out their design before the start of the school year.
As the Olympics come to a close, the Paralympic athletes are preparing for Tokyo. The games kicked off August 24th, and a Portland man with Parkinson's is an alternate for the para-rowing team. Morgan Romero got a chance to see how the sport has really helped him to deal with his diagnosis.
Thanks, Susan. Yeah, I'll take care of it. When we're done. Yeah, you can't turn down that, you know?
Welcome to Todd Vogt's daily routine out on the water.
It's like propelling yourself through the water. It's funny. You feel like you're flying almost.
You want to rotate your pelvis.
When he's in the boat, all you can see is a powerful, elite athlete.
I want you to do 10 high and hard.
While I'm out there, my body's just almost like doing its old thing again.
When he steps off the boat, you can see some of the signs.
I think my balance is a little bit affected. My whole left side doesn't function as well. Like the coordination of my whole left side is a little funky. That's the challenge.
3 years ago, at just 43, Vogt was diagnosed with Parkinson's.
Yeah, they call it early onset or young onset.
A rower for decades, he struggled processing it.
So I didn't even know if I'd be able to really have a career anymore as a coach. I certainly thought my competitive rowing days were over, just because I felt weak.
But he wasn't ready to give up. Vogt eventually got classified as a Paralympic athlete. He competed in the World Championship in 2019, then set his sights on Tokyo.
At the Paralympics, there's only this one boat that's available, so there's only 2 seats for men.
He's the male alternate for the Games at the end of August.
Ideally, I would like to continue at least try to go to Paris in 2024. So that would be my goal.
Through exercise, he's slowed the progression of his Parkinson's.
Good. I like that one.
Rowing this boat requires so much dexterity that it sort of forces my left wrist to at least do it somewhat well, or else I end up in the river, basically.
In a lot of ways, he's just like any other athlete that's striving for the Olympic dream. His work ethic is never ending, going after the golden ring. I would say he has Parkinson's disease, but I just see Todd.
I'm inspired every time I see him.
His neurologist at OHSU says Vogt is a unique Parkinson's patient, but shows how exercise can be used as medicine.
Knowing that that's the most important tool that you have to keep things stable over time, it almost empowers people and allows them to take back some of that control.
While he knows Parkinson's gets worse over time, Vogt doesn't plan to give up on rowing or himself.
Definitely helped me mentally. It's like putting me in touch with other people who are disabled or have Parkinson's.
Morgan Romero, KGW News.